Hey, I'm Joel. Today we're going to find inspiration in everybody's favourite drum and bass band, Pendulum, and recreate this style lead sound. Yeah, we all love it. In context? Oh yeah. Alright, so we'll just make sure we have initial tone selected. So just click the name in Zenology Pro, make sure all is selected on the left, all is selected on the right, hit initial tone. I've just got one MIDI plugin here, which is the velocity setting. So the velocity on my MIDI keyboard is standardized to full. Cool, so the first partial is going to be a saw wave. So we'll select virtual analog here, make sure saw is selected. But we don't want to be able to play chords, because it's a lead sound, so we'll just turn mono on here and portamento. That's your glide time. You can change the portamento time here if you wish. And we're going to turn unison on here and have the unison size at whatever you like really, but 2 is pretty good, and just a slight bit of detune. And we're going to go into the pitch setting here, and in partial 1, just fine tune the partial down a little bit, maybe like 12. You won't be able to hear it until there's comparison with the second one. What we'll do is we'll go to the pitch, and we're going to send the pitch to LFO1 just a little bit. Maybe like 12 or 13. And we'll go into the LFO here. We're going to hit tempo sync, key trigger, so that way the LFO is syncing to the tempo, which is of course 175 because drum and bass. And key trigger, so every time you play the note, it's going to re-trigger the LFO. We'll turn it on to a sine wave here, and we're going to change the rate to 16. You can have it faster or slower if you like. So that's it for partial 1. Now what we're going to do is go to Pro Edit Mode, Utility, Copy, Tone Partial 1, Utility, Paste, Tone Partial 2, and then we're going to go to the oscillator, back to Visual Edit Mode here. We're going to go to the oscillator section. We're going to make partial 2 a square wave. So now we have all the same LFO settings and pitch settings on both partials. But the second partial is a square wave, and the first partial is a saw wave. I'd like to turn the wave gain up on the second partial so we can hear more of that square. Just make sure you're not peaking at the top here. It's very close, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Alright, that's it for Zenology Pro. The rest of the sound really comes from effects after the source. So you could use the master effects to add the first effect on, which is a chorus, but we'll just do everything in Ableton. We'll go to audio effects here. We're going to add a chorus on straight away. And we're going to change the high pass down to about the 400 kilohertz mark. We'll change the amount here to about 0.8, something like that. So without it, with it. Just gives us that real nice stereo width, and we'll turn this up to about 2.8 or so. And we'll bring the feedback up as we see fit. So without the chorus, and with the chorus. It's already sounding a lot like it. Next, we'll add a multi-band dynamics on here, and we're going to take out all the low end because it's a lead sound. Okay, I actually missed a step. We're going to add an EQ8 immediately right after the Zenology Pro, and we're going to do a high cut or a low pass filter. Bring it down to about the 3,500 kilohertz, 4, somewhere around there. So without the effects after, adding the chorus, adding the multi-band dynamics. Rad. Now we can boost the mids a little bit if we like on the multi-band dynamics, because it is a lead sound, and just to bring the output down just a little bit so we're not peaking here. And we're going to take the time and bring it all the way down. Sweet. So now if we go to our saturator here, the Hot Tubes plugin is quite nice for this one. Just check the gain. It might be need a little bit more or a little bit less. So without, with, and we'll change the curve to, you can go a hard curve if you want. That's pretty intense. I like the medium curve. And again, check that output, make sure it's not too loud, not peaking or clipping. Sounded nice. Now we're going to add some compression. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am a preset man, so let's go to compressor. Let's just add a brick wall compression at the end. Just change the threshold a little bit so it's catching all those peaks. And bring the output down so again we're not peaking or clipping. And then we will add an EQ at the end to bring some of those high frequencies back in. So go to, just grab one of these nodes here and around the 10K mark. 9.5, 10K, somewhere around there. So, and boost it up there. So without it, with it. Just adds a bit of that high frequency content back in. If you really want, you could go a mid-side EQ and on the side sort of take out some of those nastier frequencies. And take the bass out of that sides especially. And then last but not least, we add a reverb on there. We just bring the decay all the way down, not all the way down, maybe like the 200-300 mark. And we just play around with the dry wet. And we can bring the output on that EQ up a little bit, seeing as we took a few of the frequencies out, so I lowered the volume a bit. My mic stand is falling down. So with that little loop, we love it. So with a drum loop that I made with my Drum Root Impact and a bass loop that I made with my Novation Bass Station 2, rock on, let's go. Yeah. Okay, that's how you make an iconic Pendulum style lead sound in Roland's Zenology Pro software synth. Thanks for watching.